Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy. And if you were just watching my video and I bailed on you, I'm really ashamed of myself because look, I did finish my card just like I was going along and it was fine. I really didn't mess up. So I want you to know that I did know what I was doing. Now the one thing I would have done here is just made my little flap a little longer. But I'm going to start my video over now, or at least making of my Brad book. So so if you were here before, I'm back to finish the book, but you have to start from the beginning with me. So this is what I'm doing. I ran across this video on YouTube or Pinterest, I'm not sure which one. And it's Sam Calcott from the UK. Now Sam, I probably messed up her last name. But this is what it does. It's a really pretty waterfall card, and she made it into a card, but then I showed it to some people, and they said that would make a really cute, like scrapbook, brag book kind of gift. So this is what I'm going to show you again how to make. Like I said, if you were here before and I bailed on you, I apologize, but I panicked for no reason, and I was just fine. I finished my book, but we're going to make another one. So I have a bunch of scraps of paper here. Now, I probably know the measurements now because I went and cut all my paper again, but I would check my blog, becreativewithkathy.com, and that's where all the measurements are. I'm going to take this piece, which I know, well, let me check with my Simply Scored because now I'm a little bit panicked. It's 9.5, and I believe this is 3 7/8, which yes it is. But we're going to take this piece and we're going to score it starting at the 3 1/4 inch. So 3 1/4, and we're going to score it every 1/4 inch. So that's 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 3/4. Wait, I didn't get that one good. 4, 4 1/4, 4 1/2, and then 4 3/4. So once again, that's from the 3 1/4 all the way over to the 3 3/4 at every 1/4 inch. And those measurements, the score marks, will be on my blog too. Now on my blog, I won't have a supply list because really I'm using Retired Designer Series paper, and so I really can't give you a supply list, but you can use just whatever you have. So now using my bone folder, I'm going to make sure all those little bitty score lines are folded right on the line, really nice. Takes me a minute here. All I can think about is that I bailed last time. I'm really embarrassed, but we'll just get over that and move on. Okay, and if you didn't watch the video, then you don't even know I bailed last time, and you just have to forgive me. Well, you won't have to forgive me because you weren't there to watch me bail. It's embarrassing. Okay, let's move on. So again, on those little fold lines, and then this last one here, and they all should be folded really good. You can see them all there, right? And now it looks like this when it goes. Looks like an accordion kind of. So then I'm going to take this piece here. Now over here, you see there's a long side of cardstock and then the little score lines and then the short side. On that short side there, I'm going to take a strip like this. Now this one is too big. I need to cut that down because this should be 1 inch by 8. And I can tell you right now it's not 8. Let me cut this down. So now it is 1 inch by 8. And I'm going to glue that to here about a 1/2 inch from the side. So just like last time, I'm going to use tear and tape. And I'm going to count over 3 and set my tear and tape here. 3 little squares over. Make sure it's still straight. Yep. And 3 again. And I'm going to make sure that my paper is going to cover those 2 pieces, which it will. So then I'm going to take the backs off of my tear and tape here. And then I'm going to use just a glue stick on top of that tear and tape. And that's going to give me just a little bit of wiggle room. So when I go to lay my strip over that tear and tape, I can move that paper, see, just for a little bit until that glue dries, and then my tear and tape is going to hold it really strong. So there we go, looks like that. Now I have a piece that looks like a T here. This is the short side again. Remember, this is the long side. Now I'm going to take my designer series paper here and make sure that I have it in the right order and that my patterns on the back are the right way. So if you look, I should do it this way so you can see how my patterns, if they have a pattern, is the right way. And then this one. And now I put this one in the back because this is my least favorite pattern, and I'll show you why, because we're going to glue it down later. But that's why I put the one that I like the least in the very back. Then I'm going to turn this over because I'm going to start in the back. I'm going to put some glue in between these two score lines. So really this would be the 3 1/4 score line here, and then the 3 1/2, and I'm going to put glue, liquid glue, so I can move it around in between. Now I'm also going to make sure my paper has a little bit of border here and a little bit of border down here, and hold it there. That way I can get my designer series paper on there straight. So let me get my glue going here. Well, maybe it's going to be one of those days, is it? There we go. A little bit of glue on here, a little bit of glue goes a long way. And then take my designer series paper. Now this is going to be the front, this is going to be the back, but it's a square, so it doesn't matter which side, just which side, front and back. And I'm going to try to get it straight on my paper this way between these two lines on my grid paper. And then I'm going to get it straight here with that score line. In fact, I'm even going to take it like this and fold on that score line and make sure that it's straight that way too. Okay, let's put the next one on. Lay it down. Now between these two score lines, I'm going to just add a little bit of glue. And then this one, making sure my rainbows are the right way. This is the front, or what I want to show. I'm going to do the same thing to this one, making sure that these designer series paper line up this way. And I'm going to take that score line and fold it, make sure it's flush with the score line and straight with my paper here, and it all looks well. So let's go the next one. And put this one down like that, checking my sides. Fold that score line, make sure it's flush with the score line, straight with my other pieces of designer series paper, and I'm going to just keep going here. Couple more here. So far so good. My designer series paper is lining up. I got more liquid glue there. I'm going to play this one like this. Check the sides. Check the score line. And see how it's not lined up here. I'm going to just take it and maybe move it a little bit. There we go. Okay, last one. Then I'm going to take this last piece, and lay it, make sure there's no glue on there, and lay it right here on top of the rest of them. And now we should be between the last of those score lines after you get the 6 pieces of designer series paper on there. Make sure this is, again, with the score line. And it looks like that. So now our piece looks like this. And in fact, I'm going to take my bone folder and just varnish those and make sure that they really want to stick down. I'm even going to open each one of them and fold them this way again. Whoops, not that way, this way. Get rid of this. And then this one. And just make sure they're all really good and stuck down. And look how pretty all the colors are in that designer series paper. So there we go. So now we have a piece that looks like this. Now I'm going to turn this over and close this flap like this. Right, so here's Here's the back with all the score lines and all the designer series paper stuck on there. I'm going to take this and fold it over. Ooh, and then I'm going to take a piece of ribbon, and now like I told you in the beginning of the video, I said 2 inches of ribbon. This time I'm going to use 3 to give me just a little bit more room to work and have a longer piece to pull on my tab here. Then with some some tear and tape, I'm going to take and cover half of that tape with some tear and tape. There again, I'm going to varnish it and make sure it's nice and flat on that. And then I'm going to remove the back. There we go, and fold this in half. And so you see, so now it has a nice strong pulley that we're going to use as our pull mechanism. So now, like I said, this is what it looks like. I fold this over, right? We're just going to reinforce this piece because this piece is going to have a lot of wear and tear on him. So I'm going to just take a piece of tear and tape and set that here on the edge here. This is what's going to hold our ribbon onto our card here. And then I'm going to make sure that my ribbon here hangs out just a little bit past here. So when you put your card together, and let me show you on the one that I actually finished. Well, this is a terrible one because you can't see it. It needs to be a little bit longer than the designer series paper here, but not too long. You don't want to see it. So let me make it a little bit shorter. So it hangs out maybe about there. Now, if mine hangs out of my card and you see it, maybe like the Christmas one that I showed you earlier, like this one, right? See how this one you can almost see it hang out here? That doesn't bother me at all. If that bothers you, you might take your card base, which I didn't score. Let me score him real quick. And this card base, this is 11 by 4 1/4. Oops, and we want to score it at 5 1/2. There, I messed up again. At 5 1/2, not 4 1/4. Because you could take this piece in here and just lay it in here to see if it's going to show there. Now mine's pretty good, so I'm going to leave it right there. Put this part away. Now we have another piece of paper. Now I know this because I just cut it, is 4 1/4 by 3 5/8. And I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to just use liquid glue because I think it's just as fast, and that way I can move it around a little bit. Although I could take the tear and tape with the glue stick and make it work that way, but I'm going to just take this piece here. Oh, in fact, you know what else I want to do is I'm going to put a little piece of tear and tape right over my ribbon. I just want to reinforce that when you pull on this, my ribbon's not going to pull off of my card. I don't want that to happen no matter what. So another piece just to reinforce there, and then just take this piece and I'm going to lay it right here. And that just reinforces that ribbon. It reinforces that paper. It's color on color, so you really can't see it. But now we have a strong piece of paper back here that's going to be what we're going to pull on and stuff all the time. Okay, then we're going to take these pieces and I'm going to just fold them back over. Now let me show you again where I'm at. I have my score lines here. This is the shorter side, the designer series paper, the flapped. I've closed this, and then I'm going to fold these over just like I did the last time until I panicked and quit my video. And then we're going to take this one and we're going to fold it over. Now I don't want it too tight, but I don't want it too loose either. And that's why I didn't score them, just so I could fold them over so they fit in there. And then again, with my liquid glue here, I'm going to cover just those 2 tabs. I'm not going to get any glue air on my paper at all. I'm only going to get glue on those tabs. Now here's where I probably should have before. Let me take our card base here, which I said is 11, scored at 5 1/2. It's 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And I'm going to take this piece, hold these 2 tabs down, and lay it in here along that fold line to where it's centered everywhere else. Look, my ribbon is showing now. That's a good thing. And then I'm going to fold this over and just varnish it and make sure that those tabs stick down really good. Now is where the drum roll. Are you ready for this? Let's see how I did this time. Because I don't know, like I told you before, I was in the middle of a video and I panicked and I bailed. But look how cute now that you pull this, look, and those little papers flip over on that waterfall card. I'm going to try to get my bone folder in here and get that nice and flat and varnished. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it all the way. I want to take this piece here and I'm going to glue it to this piece here. Now, I don't know if you can see, but there's a separation here. We don't want it glued to this piece. We want this piece is what moves, but we want to glue it down here. So I'm going to just take a little bit of liquid glue and just go over right here. You wouldn't have to do this, but I just think the card looks better and finished if this part is glued down like that. So let's test it one more time. Make sure Kathy knows what she's doing this time. There we go. Now I wish I would have saved my deleted video to show you. Look, I did know what I was doing. But anyway, and then you pull here and looky there. You have a beautiful little waterfall card. Now to decorate this card, I have a piece of designer series paper here from the same pack. And that's even why I picked this retired papers, because I love this one. I'm going to take this with just my tape runner and add this. Now this is just your normal layer 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm going to add this to the front like so. And then I found this is from a retired Memories and More pack. I'm going to just take this because these people are my sunshine, and I cut a piece that just layers it. This part won't be on my measurements because you'll have to measure or decorate the front of the card just how you feel. I'm going to take this and put, and I shouldn't call it a card, now it's a brag book, so that you can decorate the front of your brag book how you want. My measurements won't be there, but it's not very difficult, even my measurements aren't. Like that, and then I'm going to lay that right on front. Now, you ready to see who my sunshine is? I have all my pictures here of my family. Here's who started this whole mess. This is my husband, Jim. I'm going to take him. Now, I've cut my pictures down, and they might not be perfect, but I made sure that they're not bigger than 3 3/4 tall or 3 3/4 wide. But we're going to take Jim, and we're going to put him right here on the first page. Look how handsome he is with his big fish. He was so proud of his fish. And then my firstborn is Sal. This is my son Sal, his wife Christina, with all the 4 grandkids, and we're going to take them. Now this one, I don't know how tall it is, but I know that it's 3 3/4 inches wide. So I'm going to kind of center him right here. And there's Sal and his family. And then we'll flip it one more time. Then next came Dwight. Now this is Dwight and his girlfriend Emma, and then the love of her life, although my son might be too, her dog Nala. I know this one is 3 3/4 tall. I'm not sure how wide it is, but I'm going to just take this picture and I'm going to put it right here. Then after our 2 sons, along came a daughter. Her name is Sadie. I miss Sadie. She doesn't live here in Colorado anymore. She lives in Nebraska. Her birthday was yesterday, so happy belated birthday again, Sadie. But I'm going to take Sadie and put her right here. And then the grand finale of the whole family is Miss Danae right here. Now Danae recently graduated from college and is back in Colorado. So we're going to take Danae and put her right here. Whoop. Try to get those borders straight. And then I've cut a piece of just basic white that is 3 3/4 square. And that way, if I want to write something in my little brag book here, which I probably will, maybe just House Family 2022. But I've put this piece, oh, and you know what, I'm mistaken. I think this is 3 1/2 inch square. It's a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch. But there you go. So there's my brag book. Let's see one more time how the family goes. So you hold your book, you open it up, you pull that little tab. There's Jim. There's Sal and his family. You have Dwight and his girlfriend Emma, along with Nala. And then comes Sadie. Hello, Sadie. And then you have Danae, sorry, Danae, and a little note where you can write a greeting. So there you go. So yay, I finished my little brag book. I think it turned out really cute. Here's the other one. This was my first one. I'd love to decorate this one or give it as a gift for Christmas. And then here's the other one that I messed up on, that I bailed on my video. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you give a brag book a try and how it comes out. I'll see you back here on on Friday. I have to move from Thursday to Friday, so I'll see you back here Friday about 11. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.